Characters: Emma Carter, 17, a senior at Pinebrook High School. Quiet, introspective, with artistic talent but weighed down by self-doubt. Mark Carter, 45, Emma's father. A factory worker laid off 6 months ago. Proud, hardworking, but struggling to provide. Carlos Ramirez, 18, Emma's best friend since childhood. Outgoing, optimistic, planning to join the military after graduation. M.S. Patterson, 38, Emma's English teacher. Empathetic and perceptive, encourages students to find their voice. Grace Johnson, 16, Emma's classmate. Confident cheerleader on the outside but battling family pressure at home. M.R.S. Ramirez, 45, Carlos's mother. Warm but stern, worries about Carlos's safety in the military. Various students, townspeople, supporting roles indicating the community's dynamics. Fade in. EXT, Pinebrook, Midwest town, early fall morning. The camera glides over a row of modest houses whose paint is peeling in spots. Leaves fall gently from the trees, painting the sidewalk in reds and golds. A crisp chill hangs in the air. We hear distant murmurs. Children's laughter, a dog barking, and a church bell tolling. In Carter kitchen, 7 a.m. Mark stands at the kitchen counter, flipping pancakes. He wears a faded blue work shirt, jeans, and a worn baseball cap. His face is lined with fatigue, but he forces a small smile as Emma shuffles down the stairs in pajama pants and a sweatshirt, rubbing sleep from her eyes. Emma softly, "Morning, Dad." Mark brightening, "Good morning, sweetheart. You're up early." He serves Emma a plate of pancakes, drizzling syrup. Emma sits at the table, staring at her phone. Emma hesitant. "Dad, your layoff hasn't been easy on Mom or you. I heard you paid rent late again this month." Mark slides into the seat opposite her, placing his fork down. Mark softly, avoiding eye contact. "I'm trying, Emma. The factory's hiring slow. I've got an interview at Miller's Automotive tomorrow. I'll let you know." Emma sighs, clearly worried. "Emma, I just wish things felt normal again." Mark reaches across the table, taking her hand. "Mark, Ernest, we'll get through this. I promise. I know you have that art scholarship interview next week. We're not giving up on your future, either." Emma forces a smile as Carlos's cheerful voice cuts through the doorframe. "Carlos, off screen." "Morning, roomie." Carlos bounds into the kitchen, backpack slung over one shoulder. He's wearing a crisp JROTC uniform shirt under his backpack straps. "Carlos, ready for that art club meeting after school?" Emma nods, offering a polite smile to Carlos, though her mind lingers on her father's invisible worry lines. EXT, Pinebrook High School, late morning. Students trickle across the courtyard. Banners for Homecoming 2025 hang between lampposts. Emma and Carlos walk toward the main entrance together, backpacks slung casually. Carlos grinning. "I talked to my mom about basic training. She's nervous, but she says she's proud. How about yours?" Emma shrugs. "Mom's still recovering from the surgery. She can't talk much about college with me. She says she's just glad I'm trying." Carlos touches Emma's elbow in support. "Carlos, you're gonna crush that scholarship interview. Ms. Patterson loves your work." Emma forces an upbeat expression as they enter the building. English classroom, day. Rows of desks face a whiteboard covered in sticky notes. M.S. Patterson stands at the front, holding a manuscript. Emma sits near the back, sketchbook partially open on her desk. Grace Johnson sits beside her, typing on her phone. "Ms. Patterson, today we'll workshop your personal essays. College applications are coming due. Emma, why don't you share your draft?" Emma's heart pounds. She raises her chin and reads. "I remember the day my father came home in the evening sun, chainsawed in his eyes, heavy boots dragging behind him." Her voice trembles slightly. Emma, voice wavering. "I remember thinking the sky had collapsed because in that moment our world did. Dad had been at the Millwood factory. The layoffs came one by one, and when he walked through the door, the fear on his face was louder than any machine. We learned, then, how fragile life is, how unpredictable." She pauses, scanning the faces of her classmates. Carlos nods encouragingly. Grace leans forward, sincerely interested. Emma continuing. "I turn to art to silence the fear. But art isn't just drawings. It's healing. It's giving voice to the tears and the anger and the hope all at once. She finishes. Silence settles. Miss Patterson steps forward, placing a gentle hand on Emma's shoulder. Ms. Patterson, softly. Beautiful Emma. You've captured raw emotion and tied it into how art saved you. Keep this vulnerability. Is what makes your writing powerful. Emma exhales, relieved. Grace quietly to Emma. That was incredible. I'm really impressed. Emma nods, eyes glistening. Grace gives her a supportive smile. The bell rings. Students pack up. XT. High school art room, afternoon. Easels line the sunlit room. Paint-splattered tables and stacks of canvases flank the walls. Emma stands before a blank canvas, palette in hand. Azamar Anderson, 50s. The art teacher quietly observes. Carlos enters, carrying a stack of art supplies. Carlos, ready for art club? Emma nods but doesn't reply, eyes fixed on her blank canvas. Carlos sets down the supplies, taking a seat nearby. Carlos, hey, whatever you paint today, I know it'll be awesome. Emma forces a smile, dips her brush into white paint, and spreads it across the canvas. Emma quietly, I want to paint something different, something about Dad. But I can't figure out how to show his struggle without making it look like pity. Carlos closes one of his eyes, thinking. Carlos, what if you paint 2 panels? One shows the factory, gray machines, people walking out with empty boxes. The other shows Dad at home, leaning on you, exhausted, but you're shining a light on him, literally. Like you're holding a lamp that breaks through the shadows. Emma's eyes widen. She begins sketching rapidly. Emma. A light, a beacon. Even when everything else is falling apart. Carlos nods sagely. Carlos. Exactly. Emma starts painting. As her brush strokes move, we see her emotion pouring into the canvas, the left side in cold grays and blues, the right side bathed in warm yellows and soft golds. She paints her father's tired face, lit by the glow of a small lamp. In the background, we see a small silhouette of her mother in bed, recovering. Int. Carter living room, evening. The room is dim, a single lamp casts a circle of light on the couch. Mark sits reading a newspaper, worry lines visible. Emma enters with her painting covered. Carlos follows behind. Emma quietly. Dad, can you come see something? Mark sets down the paper. He carefully pulls the cover off the painting and gasps. Mark, voice thick. Emma, this is beautiful. He studies the left panel, his gaunt figure in the factory shadows. The right panel, Emma's hand holding a lamp to his face. Mark, softly. You captured everything I've been feeling, the fear that one day we'd lose it all, and yet you're light. You see me. Emma fights back tears. Emma. You've always worked so hard, Dad. I wanted you to know I see it and I'm proud. This lamp, it's me holding onto you because without you, I don't know what I'd do. Mark stands and pulls Emma into a tight embrace. Carlos steps back respectfully. Mark pulling away, voice breaking. Your mom would have been so proud. This belongs at the scholarship gallery. You need people to see how talented you are and how strong. Emma nods, tears spilling down her cheeks. Emma softly. Thank you, Dad. They hold each other for a moment longer. Montage. EXT, Downtown Gallery, Day. Emma's painting displayed prominently among other high school finalists. A plaque reads, Pinebrook Art Scholarship Exhibit. Parents and students admire her work. Ms. Patterson and Carlos stand together, beaming. Int. Car sales lot day. Mark, wearing a crisp shirt, shakes hands with a manager at Miller's Automotive. He's offered a mechanic's assistant position. Relief washes over his face as he calls Emma from his cell. Int. Carter dining room, evening. The Carter family, Mark, Emma, and off-screen, the unseen yet hinted presence of Emma's recovering mother, dine together. Laughter fills the room. A framed print of Emma's painting hangs on the wall behind them. EXT, high school graduation stage, day. Emma, in cap and gown, stands at the podium delivering her valedictorian speech. She gestures toward a displayed image of her painting. Emma to crowd. Art taught me that even in our darkest moments, we have the power to create light. I hope each of us finds our own beacon, something to guide us through life's storms. The crowd erupts into applause. EXT Recruitment Center, day. Carlos, in full dress uniform, hugs his mother before stepping inside. She wipes tears but smiles as she steadies him. Int. Carter Garage Studio, late night. Emma works at an easel in the converted garage. Soft lamplight illumines the space. She's sketching a new painting, this time of a sunrise breaking over the town's silhouette. Mark emerges from the adjoining doorway, wiping grease from his hands onto a rag. Mark, smiling proudly. Still at it? Emma, without looking up. Yeah. I'm thinking of applying for a spot at the Fine Arts program in Chicago. Mark sets the rag down and stands beside her, watching the pencil strokes reveal the first rays of sunlight. Mark, you've come a long way, Em. Do you know why we named you, Emma, after your grandmother? Emma looks at her father curiously. Emma, softly. No. I figured it was because Grandma loved the name. Mark nods and gently taps her shoulder. Mark, Grandma always said even in the middle of a dark storm, the sun will rise. She used to paint sunrises. She believed that no matter what we face, hope is always on the horizon. I guess we passed that hope on to you. Emma's eyes glisten. She erases a stray pencil line, then resumes sketching, determined. Emma. I'll make her proud. Mark places his hand on her shoulder and squeezes. Mark. You already have. They stand together in silence. A distant church bell tolls midnight. Emma continues sketching, the morning sun now bright in her mind's eye.